What is going on, everybody? Teddy Baldassarre here, and in this video we are going to be going over a list of amazing divers under $1,000. If you guys have not seen my prior video where I talked about great divers under $300, I will link to that down below. But leave comments down here in the comment section about what was your favorite diver mentioned, as well as any divers that I forgot to mention. So guys, let's jump into it. So first up, we have the Orient Mako USA II, and one of my favorite looking divers on this list here today, especially the white dial option. Very sharp looking piece. It retails around $450, however you can find it for much under that. It has a 41.5 millimeter case, is 200 meters water resistant, and is automatically powered by an Orient caliber F6922. Next we have Seiko, and we're going to be looking at their Seiko Samurai SRP B51. So for this choice, there are many references that you can choose from. However, I decided to go with this one because I think it's just simple with its color scheme, and I do enjoy it. It is a little bit too big for my wrist, coming in with a 43.8 millimeters, but I think that's suitable on a lot of people's wrists. It has a $400 price point. You can find it for less than that, as well as coming with an automatic Seiko 4R35 movement and is water resistant up to 200 meters. Now we have to take a look at a brand that really dominates in this price range, Hamilton. And the Hamilton that we're going to be looking at is the Hamilton Khaki King Scuba Auto. This comes in with a price point of $400 to around $600, has dimensions of 41 millimeters, and is powered by an automatic ETA 2834-2 movement. I was a little bit hesitant to put this watch on here because it only has a water resistance of 100 meters. However, I think for most of us that aren't going below even 10 feet deep in the water, I think this will be plenty good. Next up, we have a watch that I have actually owned before, and that is the Glycine Combat Sub. So this watch is coming in around $400 to $600 depending on where you look. You can find it in the gray market for around that price. Have the dimensions of 42 millimeters. However, speaking from my own personal experience, this watch wears quite large for a 42 millimeter watch. Great looking when it comes to just the different dial options that you have at your disposal. It is powered by a Glycine caliber GL224, water resistance up to 200 meters as well. Now we have Orient again, and this watch from Orient is probably, when you're looking at the specs of one of their diver watches, is probably the best, and that is the Orient Triton. It bears the diver's 200 meters stamp on the dial and is compliant with the Japanese industrial standard, and is coming in with a price point around $300 to $500 on average, where I see it trading for. Dimensions at 43.4 millimeters, is automatically powered with an in-house movement, the Orient caliber 40N5A. Now we have another watch from Japan, this one from Citizen, and that is the Citizen Promaster diver, and I'm going to try to get this reference right, the BN019155L. So this one is coming in between $300 to $400 retail, can be found for less than that, has the dimensions of a 45 millimeter case, is powered by an automatic Citizen E168 movement, and is water resistant up to 200 meters. So now we have a brand that I think I've overlooked a pretty good amount. I remember when I was first looking for a diver in this price range, when probably a couple years back, I stumbled on this brand, but for some reason I never really brought them up in many of my videos, and I really don't know why, and that is Christopher Ward. And the Christopher Ward we're going to be looking at is the Christopher Ward Trident 600. It comes in with a price point around $600 to $800. Dimensions, you have a couple of different options here, the 38 millimeter and the 43 millimeter. It is powered by an ETA 2893 movement and is water resistant up to 600 meters. So for our next choice, I want to just point this out right away, is this watch should have been in my previous video of watches under $300. Total gaffe on my part to not include it. And the watch that I'm talking about is the Deep Blue Master Automatic. These watches provide a really great amount of value, coming with the sapphire crystal being right around $200 to $300. I see these retailing just over $250. Dimensions of 44 millimeters, so a little bit too big for my wrist, but I think these are great diver options. Also automatically powered by a Seiko NH35 automatic movement, and are water resistant up to 330 meters. Next up, we have a brand that I've seen get a lot of love from watch content creators as of late, and that is Zelos. And the diver here is the Zelos Mako. So you have both steel and bronze options with this watch. I think going with the steel option is probably the more safe bet. However, it appears that a lot of these steel options are really kind of harder to find at this point. These watches are going to retail around $700 of steel options. Also comes in with a 40mm case, which I think is the perfect size to be accommodating to pretty much the vast majority of wrists. They're automatically powered by a Sellita movement and are water resistant up to 500 meters. Next up, we have the Helson Shark Diver. These are some very fun and rugged watches, and you have a ton of different dial options to choose from, but on top of that, you also have a lot of different case sizes to choose from. So if you're somebody with a small wrist or a larger wrist, this brand will definitely have an option for you. So a 38, a 40mm, a 42mm, and a 45mm. These are gonna range between $600 to $1,000. The dimensions, like I mentioned, vary a good amount, are powered by an automatic ETA 28-24-2 movement. So if you have watched any of my list videos before, especially in this price range, you know that I enjoy this brand. I think they're very underrated, and that is Mido. And the watch that I want to take a look at is the Mido Ocean Star. These watches come in around $400 to $600, have the dimensions of 42.5mm with their case, are powered by a Mido caliber 80 movement, an automatic movement, and are water resistant up to 200 meters. Now we have one of my personal favorites, and that is the Alpina Seastrong. But specifically, I want to be looking at the Seastrong Heritage. The normal Seastrongs are well under $1,000. However, if you want to pay a little bit more, you can go ahead and go after the Alpina Seastrong Heritage, which I think is just really awesome and how cool it looks with its vintage-inspired aesthetic. It's going to come in, again, just slightly over $1,000, have the case size of 42mm, is powered by an automatic Alpina caliber AL525 movement, a Sellita-based movement, and is water resistant up to 300 meters. Next, we have Longines, and we're going to be looking at their Longines HydroConquest. These watches range between $700 and $1,000, have various case sizes to choose from. If you're looking for a mechanically powered one, most of those are going to be powered by the Longines caliber 619-888 movement, an ETA-based movement, and are water resistant up to 300 meters. So this next option that I have here is probably one with a lot of polarizing opinions. I've seen people are huge proponents of this watch on one end, and I see other people bashing these type of watches on the other end. However, as somebody who actually I have not handled these watches, so I'll just mention them just because I know people will leave comments about me forgetting to mention them, is Steinhart. And the watch I'm going to be looking at is the Steinhart Ocean One. For the Steinhart Ocean One, you're going to find all of these for under $1,000. They change depending on the case size that you go for. You have a few different options, the 42mm option, 39mm option, which is my personal favorite. These are clearly Submariner homages, but I think for the price point, you can't get too mad about these watches. I think they look nice, even though you know they're directly coming from the design of another watch. They are powered by an ETA 28-24-2 movement and are water resistant up to 300 meters. So now we have a watch that I also think is pretty polarizing in what people think of it as well. And this is a watch that I've owned in the past, realized it wasn't for me, but I thought it made sense to at least just mention it out there. And if you have never heard of this watch, I am referring to the Squale 1521. So I found that these watches have went up in price a considerable amount in the last year and a half. I think that's partially just the TGV effect. These watches are now retailing at $900 and they're often out of stock. They have dimensions of 42mm. They wear much smaller than that on the wrist because they have quite compact shaped lugs. Are powered by an ETA 28-24-2 and are water resistant up to 500 meters. Now finally, we have the Eza Sealander. And this is a watch that I've had the opportunity to wear on my wrist for some time, and I really enjoyed it. I think it's a really cool vintage-inspired watch, has that kind of Mil-Sub and Omega Seamaster 300 type hybrid look that I really like. And it's from a micro brand outside of the Netherlands. So these watches are gonna come in around $800 to $900, have dimensions of 41mm, but wear pretty small for that sizing. Are powered by an automatic ETA 28-24 and are water resistant up to 300 meters. So guys, those are my picks for diver watches under $1,000. Please leave comments down below. I'd love to hear what you guys think of this list. So guys, thank you so much for watching. Be sure to give it a thumbs up. Be sure to subscribe. Also hit that bell icon so you know when I release content. Be sure to follow me on Instagram. That's a great way to keep in touch with me on top of staying up to date about upcoming giveaways, which we do have a giveaway going on right now. So if you guys do want to be included in that, hit the form down below. And in addition to that, check out our Patreon. We have some awesome perks on the Patreon page, as well as really the whole focus behind it is just trying to create another generation of watch lovers. So any support there supports the channel, as well as any other watch lovers across the globe. So guys, thank you so much for watching. Be well, and I will see you all very soon.